Hello and welcome back to Brainwave. Today we're going to be learning about covalent bonding. If you remember from the last video, we talked about intermolecular forces and intramolecular forces. If you remember that an intramolecular force is a force between the atoms, you can deduce that a covalent bond is a type of intramolecular force. But just what is a covalent bond? A covalent bond is a sharing of electrons between two atoms in order for them both to have a stable, full outer electron shell. Let's do some examples. Today in the video we're going to be doing examples with hydrogen, oxygen and methane. Firstly, if we look on hydrogen at the left, we can see that we've drawn out H-H. That is called a stick diagram. The dash in the middle simply represents a single covalent bond. So if we look to the oxygen just to the right, you can see that the two dashes must therefore mean that there are two covalent bonds. Let's go back to the hydrogen. How is this covalent bond formed? If we start by drawing the hydrogen molecule itself, we start by drawing the hydrogen nucleus, its outer electron shell, and its single electron. We can see that this hydrogen is not stable. It would like to have two electrons in its outer energy shell. How does it do this? Well, it does this through a covalent bond. If we draw another hydrogen here, we can draw their electron shells overlapping and represent its electron as an X. You can please note that the X and the dot, those are simple representations of the electrons. It doesn't mean that they're any different, they're just representations of where the electron has come from. And the reason why I'm drawing them in different colours is just to simply show that they've come from different atoms. What we've now drawn here is H2. Well done, you've learned about your first covalent bond. Let's move on to oxygen. So as we talked about earlier, oxygen has got two covalent bonds between each atom. If we start by drawing a single oxygen atom here, O, its outer energy level. As we can see, it has 6 electrons in its outer energy level. To become stable, it needs to have 8 electrons. The way it does this is by sharing its electrons with another oxygen atom. Let's draw that now. We draw our oxygen nucleus here. We draw oxygen's outer electron shell. Let's draw in its electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As we can see now, there are 8 electrons in this oxygen's outer energy level, and there are 8 electrons in this oxygen's outer energy level, because they are sharing 4 in the middle. What we have formed here is O2. Let's use one last example of methane. We've looked at single covalent bonds with the hydrogen, we've looked at double covalent bonds with the oxygen, but what happens when we have multiple atoms all bonding to another atom? Let's show this as an example. Methane, CH4, has a single central carbon atom in the centre. Let's draw its outer electron shell now. Okay, now that we can see that carbon has 4 outer electrons, if we look to the left and we saw that hydrogen has 1 outer electron, how do you think we'd be able to make them both stable? How do you think we'd be able to make sure that hydrogen has 2 outer electrons and carbon has 8 outer electrons? Pause the video now and see if you can draw it yourself using hydrogen on the left as an example. Okay, so the way we would do this is by drawing in each hydrogen. So these are the hydrogen nuclei. And let's draw in their outer energy levels. Now you can see that each hydrogen atom is sharing an electron with the carbon. So this means that each hydrogen atom has now got 2 electrons in its outer shell. You can see that here, 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 and here. And now you can see that the carbon has got 8 electrons in its outer shell. This is stable. This is CH4. And lastly, how do you think we'd draw this with a stick diagram? You draw it with the central carbon, and like before, you draw the hydrogens, and a single covalent bond between each of them. Okay, so let's recap. Today we've covered covalent bonding, which is a type of intramolecular force. We've covered simple single covalent bonds with hydrogen. We've covered double covalent bonds with oxygen. And we've discussed briefly on what happens when you have multiple atoms bonding to another single central atom. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something today. If you have any questions, please ask them down below. And please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Take care now. Bye-bye.